Now's the time to be part of the team at Team Toyota. Step up to the plate with a winning lineup of new Toyota models like the new 4Runner, Grand Highlander, and coming soon, the all-new 2026 RAV4. Or find something perfect for your game plan and your budget with over 300 certified used Toyotas available. And don't sweat a trip to the IL. Our service and collision centers will have you back in the game in no time. So slide in one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, or Glen Mills, or take a swing online at teamtoyota.net. I was going to start this podcast, Sean Kane, with a good, let's go. I was going to warn everyone to kind of turn down their speakers before we start.
Right.
I was so excited for Monday night and this entire week, really. We got a big week ahead. And I even wrote down on our little note card here that this upcoming stretch will really tell us about who this team really is. And if Monday night against the Mets in Citi Field is any indication of how this team and how this stretch and how they're going to respond to this stretch of games, especially against the Mets twice, especially against the Braves, you're going against the Brewers.
Mm-hmm.
Red October might be quick and ugly because, and look, it is one game. Completely get it. And when we talk to you guys on Wednesday night in our next podcast, hopefully we're talking about a series win over the Mets. But after Monday night, I am disgusted, embarrassed. That was just brutal. So on that note, welcome into the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. I am Spencer McKercher, joined by Sean Kane. Welcome back, Kane or two. Feels good. Enjoyed a nice vacation there, a much deserved vacation. But I was hoping that we would be talking on happier terms sitting down here, and it is really the complete opposite after a 13-3 loss to the Mets on Monday night.
Yeah, no, it was tough. You go up 3-0 early and you had more opportunities to score runs, and they kind of let the Mets hang in it. And then, it all just goes downhill so quickly with Christopher Sanchez on the mound, which you don't expect, obviously, season high earned runs for him. Where do you begin talking about that loss and how it all kind of unraveled? I'll begin with just the big picture, the ghost of Citi Field. They can't win there. It's unbelievable. Going back to last September in the regular season, overall against the Mets, 4-11 in their last 15 if you include the postseason, 1-9 up there, including 8 in a row. So, they got to get that figured out. You got to try to win at least a game in this series, not get swept. Because if they get swept, all of a sudden it's down to 4 with over a month left. It gets real interesting. But another potential playoff matchup, you got to figure out a way to win there. Just win a game up there at least. So that concerns me. I know we're going to get into all the small details of Monday night. But no, you said it. You want to go up there, you want to set the tone. You got your best pitcher on the mound, and just super disappointing for a number of reasons to come out and play like that. So got to get right back on it Tuesday with Luzardo on the mound. We'll get to that. But that was a rough one, man. That was pretty awful.
It was awful. And my whole thing is, again, we were having the debate in the office today, or as the Mets were just pouring it on late. And everyone's like, it's one game. It's one game. Relax. But this was the opportunity to come in here, prove a point, beat them down. And it looked great. 3-0 early. Everything looked great. And then it just got ugly fast. And what worries me, and it's even listening to Bryce and Rob Thompson and Christopher Sanchez after the game, it felt like a playoff loss. That's the same feeling that I have right now. And I don't know if it's just from the horrors of last season. You mentioned that stretch. It's just brutal. But the thing that worries me is I hope tonight isn't the spark that the Mets needed. They are reeling. They've lost 14-21 coming into Monday night.
Yeah.
They're just reeling. And now you beat this team 13-3. You score 13 unanswered runs. Against Christopher Sanchez, against Jordan Romano, who we'll get to. It's just this is a spark that the Mets needed, and that's what really, really worries me.
No doubt. I mean, because they're talented, and they've been asleep. You said it, for the better part of 2 months now. They were up, had a nice first half of the season, and really since the break, they've been dismal. About 2 weeks ago, they led the Phillies by a half game. Then they come into this series down 7. So kind of tells you the way they've been playing. But again, point being, they're still a talented bunch if you just look at the top of that order. And they got some guys that typically play well against the Phillies sprinkled throughout the bottom of the order. That was the case tonight, or pardon me, Monday night. They got some arms that have had some success. Obviously, Senga generally has given the Phillies a hard time. Manaya, who pitches Tuesday, pitched really well against them in the postseason last year and a couple outings in the regular season. So, they're not, they're certainly not going to back down against the Phillies. And you said it, this could spark them. They come out and sweep this series and they're down 4 games and it's the end of August and they got 4 more coming up at Citizens Bank Park against the Phillies. All the Phillies really had to do in this series or have to do in the series is just win 1 game. Because if you leave the series, you're still up 6 games, you lose 1 game off your lead. All right, fine. You're up 6 games. That's a pretty nice cushion. You just can't get swept. Would have been nice to win the series, which they can still do. Obviously, would have been real nice to sweep and really just pretty much end it. But that's not going to happen after what we saw on Monday night. But no, that's a real concern. Is this series getting the Mets going? Because for whatever they are, they're talented. They got some guys that can really hit, guys that have the Phillies number a little bit offensively, and some pitchers like I mentioned that can do the job and have done the job against the Phils. So yeah, that's a concern for me that if they kind of get sparked by this series.
Yeah, and if a game like this happened on Wednesday in the series finale and you won the first 2 games, okay, then I can say it's 1 game, whatever. But it's the
Right.
it's the opening game to the biggest series the Phillies had maybe all season, where you had a chance to bury this team. And Bryce Harper mentioned it in Monday's post game. They don't really get why they lose up here. And Bob Cooney asked Rod Thompson and Bryce Harper, hey, like, is there something about this place? Is it the house? Like, what is going on? And Bryce just said, no, they just beat us here. They don't really understand why, but Bryce made it a point. It would have been great to get a sweep, but hopefully they can take the next 2 or 3 games. But you mentioned just the random guy. Like the thing that hit me the most too in terms of the Mets lineup is Luis Torrens, their
Mhm.
9-hole hitter, who came
Yeah.
in to Monday night batting .212 on the season. And he has 5 RBIs in
Yeah.
the 9-hole. Like
Mhm.
that, it's just absurd. And like I don't get where they get these powers from and all that. And then you heard like towards the end of the game, the Phillies suck chance. Like you could hear it on our broadcast really clear. It just, I don't know, man. Everything about this loss really, really, really rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then obviously we have the 10+ minute delay with whatever.
The parabolic
Yeah,
microphone in the
parabolic
outfield.
microphone. So it's
Yeah.
parabolic. It's a word that I haven't used probably in my life.
Yep.
And now it's the only thing we've been talking about. Do you think that had any sort of disturbance to Christopher Sanchez's start?
I mean, it didn't help him. It obviously unraveled for him in that 4th inning prior to that. But yeah, no, that was like a 20-minute delay, and it's a long inning, and he's sitting there, and yeah, he goes back out, and he wasn't much better after that. Just a strange deal, a strange game. Sanchez, to me, I mean, the first 3 innings was just mowing him down. The only guy that reaches base on the Lindor on the Turner error right off the bat, and doesn't give up a hit through 3, gives up the hit to Soto, gets the double play in the 4th. There's 2 outs in the 4th, and then it just kind of unravels. Alonso gets on base, and then the weird balk. Then he
Well,
throws
yeah.
one to the backstop, and then the ball gets by Bone that I think he should have at least knocked down. And then it just goes from there, and they get a few extra base hits and just some weird stuff. McNeil pokes one past Turner. And you can tell the frustration on Sanchez. He goes in and kicks the trash can. Usually don't see that from him. I think he wanted to go out and make a statement, knowing now that he is their ace. He wanted to go out and take it to the Mets. He had that weird outing in New York in April, if you remember, where only went 2 innings. And then he had like the arm issue afterwards. They said it was just kind of a dead arm, gave him a couple extra days, and he was kind of fine after that. So he's had a couple rough outings up there. I'm sure he wanted to go out and make a statement, which he was well on his way to doing until that 4th inning. So frustrating night for him. I know he talked about, the balk and that kind of throwing off his rhythm, and Rob Thompson talked about that too, but it really kind of triggered him just kind of losing command. He didn't have his normal changeup, didn't have his normal command of the strike zone. So yeah, frustrating night for him for sure. And there's a lot more to get to in terms of the other issues in this game. But Sanchez, I think, pretty disappointed in himself in that outing.
Yeah, because and we mentioned it pre-show that we wanted to get Zack Wheeler, the Zack Wheeler news, because me and Bob, last time we talked, was right before they announced that Zack will miss the remainder of this season, and that 6 to 8 month timeline. We will get to that, deservingly so. But yeah, like Christopher Sanchez, he, I think, wanted to come out and prove that he is that one guy. And I think in all of baseball, I think he would be a number one starter for half the teams in the league right now, even most
no
playoff
doubt.
teams
Mhm.
going in. And you said it. I mean, those first 3 innings, we were kind of joking around here. Michael even said it too. Barkan, he was like, "Oh yeah, like it's gonna stink when Trey Turner is the first batter of the game that Sanchez faced. He's gonna ruin his perfect game. He'll take a no hitter, but like that could have ruined a perfect game because he did. He had the electric stuff, and then ever since that balk, and you alluded to it too, he kind of Sanchez after the game on Monday did mention, hey, like that kind of did screw up his rhythm a little bit. Just going forward too with him and throwing the ball to the backstop, which we don't really see Christopher Sanchez do. I think it is like, that's the one where I will say, I think it is just one bad start. That's not the Christopher Sanchez that we're used to. And any slander that I saw on Twitter is immediately thrown out the door because that's the last guy that deserves any sort of slander.
No
but
doubt.
it is just slightly concerning when he can't get back on track after the balk. But I don't know, man. The whole game, I'm livid. I feel embarrassed. I feel, I don't know. It's a disgusting feeling that I have right now. It does. It feels like they just lost a must-win playoff game almost. And I know it's we're keep going back and forth between it's one game and not, but it just has that feeling.
No, it was bad, but still a 6 game lead. You got to look at the big picture. But yeah, no, if they go out and lose tomorrow, and then it gets like, oh boy, then you're relying on Taiwan to avoid the sweep on Wednesday. Taiwan's been great, but I don't know how you can have complete confidence in him going out there and shutting the Mets down on Wednesday. So you really need Luzardo to step up tomorrow. Really need to figure out a way to have some success against Manaea. Left-hander, you're going to see some more of the righties in the lineup tomorrow, I would imagine. So, yeah, no, it wasn't a good tone setter. And they're up 3-0, and they had more opportunities. It should have been about 5 or 6 to nothing, and then you can really hammer them. They just kind of missed a couple opportunities. Bohm had that big 2-out hit, but other than that, they had some opportunities to really, score some runs in those early to mid innings and just couldn't get it done. And 3-0 deficit turns into a 13-3 loss, which is wild.
Insane. And that's a great point. Offensively, you look at the two numbers in the box score. The Phillies were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They left 7 on base. The Mets were 11 for 19 for runners in scoring position. That's ridiculous. Have you ever seen? I can't remember the last time I've seen that drastic of a difference, especially with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, just to have 19 opportunities in a game with runners in scoring position is crazy. I mean, the Romano thing. I know you want to get to that eventually, but the Romano, enough. I think, unfortunately, I think that accountable guys, faces the music every time, but going to him in that spot at 6-3, I get it. The bullpen's short. They used Banks yesterday. They don't want to use him again. What role does Romano have if you can't go to him when you're down 3 runs and expect him to at least keep you in the game? Like, you're clearly not using him in high leverage anymore. So you go to the guy, and it's just, he hits a guy, walks a guy, single, sack fly, 3 run. You blink, and it goes from 6-3 to 10-3, and it's just like, I don't know. You just got to cut ties, I think, at this point, unfortunately. I know. Again, accountable guy, wish him well, but not his year. And he's just not serving any purpose in that bullpen. He really just doesn't get the job done. And his ERA is over 8, and it's the end of August.
So before we get to Romano real quick, before my thoughts, the last thing I want to say, the Phillies didn't have a single player with multiple hits in the game either. They finished with 6 hits. I think they had 6 hits in that 4th inning as well. Bass just went completely cold right after that, which is just a shame. Turner 1 for 5. Schwarber didn't have a hit. JT didn't have a hit. He had a few hard hit balls. He almost had that one to the warning track there, and we'll get the JT staying hot at the plate too. But to Jordan, we got a text from someone up there that it made no sense to go to Romano there. And I don't question Rob Thompson and his decision making all too, I never really do. And that's the first time in a while that I'm like, why? It's a 3-run lead or a 3-run deficit. Like, it's not the end of the world. You have this offense
and the Mets bullpen stink. The Mets bullpen's awful. So you're in it. You can certainly score some runs if it's a 6-3 game.
Yeah, they've blown what, like 10 plus leads in the last 15
Yeah.
games. Like it's not this scary Mets bullpen that everyone kind of thought they had at the trade deadline. So you go to Romano, and yeah, man, I think I don't know. I don't like. Do you think that? I feel like we've asked the same question over and over again, and Rob Thompson alluded to it in his post game presser about how like the velocity was there and the slider was kind of not like he hit 97 on his final pitch, but then the slider wasn't breaking. Like he kind of was not making excuses, but he was just, I don't know. I guess it's an excuse if you
Yeah.
want to say that. Yeah, I mean, I've asked this question to you and Bob over the last 2 months. Like, is this what more can you see from Jordan Romano that's going to change your mind on him still pitching for this team, especially with a month left to play?
Yeah, no, I'll use the word shocked. Now, I will be shocked if he pitches again for the Phillies. Like, I think it's got, I mean, what are we
Wow.
doing? Like, we just,
Yeah.
just can't keep trotting him out there. Like, again, unfortunate situation. Signing didn't work out. They were counting on him having a bounce back year. Clearly, that didn't happen. Max Lazar, he had a couple rough outings, but generally pitched pretty well for them. Came through in some big spots. You mean to tell me you're not more confident giving the ball to him than Romano right now?
I don't.
So I don't know. Like call him back up. There's got to be somebody down there they can come. They can call back up and just again, thanks, Jordan. We appreciate it. Did it with Whit Merrifield last year. It just hasn't worked. Just cut ties, move on. I think for everybody's sake. I mean, I'm sure he can't feel real good about himself going out there at this point. Trotting back out there, and he literally just can't get anybody out.
Well, he had the haircut.
He did. He tried that. Yeah.
He got the haircut.
Yeah.
That didn't work. It didn't
No.
work at all. I'm to be honest, I didn't know we were going when you said shocked. I thought you were going to say shocked if they don't DFA him or anything, but yeah, shocked to see him pitch again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this a tomorrow or I guess a Tuesday? We sit down and record this on Monday night. You guys will hear this Tuesday morning. Is that like a Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe come back home after the Mets series type of decision?
Obviously they can get another arm to New York real quick, so maybe it's a Tuesday decision. Maybe it's something they just kind of meet with them tomorrow and say it's not working. I mean, they don't need to make a big presentation to this guy. Just look at your ERA, look at your last handful of outings. Because he had the rough start, and then he kind of got it together there, like in the May range. Had strung together 7, 8 nice appearances, but then it's just been pretty consistently bad now for a while. And Thompson said he's like, we gave him some rest. I think he hadn't pitched in 6 days.
Yeah.
And, thinking maybe that'll help him just to give him some extra time, and it just comes out. It's just brutal. So I think sooner rather than later, you're going to see that move. They just kind of part ways with Jordan Romano and get another bullpen arm. And obviously you can call a few guys up in September, but yeah, I think it's coming sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean it's only $8.5 million off the books. He signed that 1 year, $8.5 million deal on December 10th of 2024. His ERA is 8.23, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean,
that's insane.
So it's a running inning. Every inning is going to be a run. That's crazy.
And again, he's such a good dude. And Bob alluded to it on the last podcast. Like he's a great guy. He's well liked in the locker room. But I think it is one of those where you have the arms in Lehigh Valley that are pitching well. I would trust half of that bullpen right now instead of Jordan Romano. And we'll see what the Phillies end up doing with him. And maybe we won't see him in a Phillies uniform ever again after Monday night. Speaking of that too, so he hit Vientos. Vientos gets pulled out of the game. I think I think he was probably fine. We'll hear if the Mets come out with anything with that. But then Joe Ross hits another batter in the 8th inning. Hits Marte right in the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
I to be honest, I was like 13-3 lead. Are we going to see Bohm get hit? Are we going to see Stock get hit?
Right.
Nothing happened, but could there be possibly a little retaliation? I mean, just because the thing that caught my eye during that whole delay, we showed a shot of all four middle infield or all four infielders for the Mets kind of looking at the microphone out in center field. And we cut camera right as Alonso turned, looked at the Phillies dugout and kind of gave him like, what are we doing? Kind of motion. Yeah. He kind of tossed his glove in there and kind of gave him like this confused look. Mm-hmm. So I think the tension's there between the two. And I'm not saying, obviously, I don't think Romano meant to hit Vientos on purpose because the next three pitches,
he was all over the place.
It was in the right-handed batter's box. But
Yeah.
like, could we see a little retaliation possibly from the Mets?
I mean, I get it. Like if I'm the Mets, I'm not happy. You plunk two
100.
guys and yeah, up and in pretty hard. Kruk mentioned it during the broadcast. Like, it's not intentional, but at some point the Mets aren't going to be happy. And there's been the last handful of years, the Mets, I feel like have gotten plunked a lot, not just by the Phillies, but by a lot of teams. So going back to the Buck Showalter days, I remember that being a thing with them. Alonso got hit like constantly. So I'm sure that's always something in the back of their minds. Will we see something tomorrow? I kind of doubt it, but no, it's just, another bad look in a night full of bad looks. Getting back to like whether the Mets thought it was kind of weird, like, because, I guess when Senga left, they bring in the reliever, getting back to the Bohm parabolic
Yep.
microphone delay. They said like coming out of the lefty's arm slot, it was back there, but Sanchez had pitched for 4 innings, left the arms. Now maybe it gets darker, it gets darker at night. That thing kind of glares more. Who knows? But it was just a weird time to kind of point that out after 5 innings of the Phillies throwing a left-hander the whole time. So who knows if that's what they're thinking as well. But no, just weird. Just a weird night and a bad night for the Phils, man.
Yeah, Rob Thompson said it's almost like looked like someone moved it ever so slightly. He said that in his post-game press conference on Monday. It almost looked like it changed, because that was my thought. And then Ricky mentioned this on post-game. We went back and looked. That microphone's been there since 2017, dude.
Yeah.
So it's never caused problems for the Mets. And I mean, like, I get where Alex's coming from, because I'm sure that it's the way the reflection and the glare is, it's white. And when you see the baseball coming out of lefty's hand, it's the same thing. But again, It goes back to, I mean, that delay was so long, and I don't know. I'm not going to put the full blame on Alec Bohm, obviously, because I think the Mets and the umpires and Citi Field could have handled it better, being like, hey, let's go out there and fix that right away. But it did. I think it ended up kind of screwing Sanchez a little bit, just because I think it ended up being like a 13-minute total delay from when Bohm grounded out to when they finally threw another pitch.
Yeah. So Rick did some research on that, went back to 2017. That's right up his alley. I can see him at his computer really digging into the old files and searching for that microphone on the wide shot.
We mentioned it before, our Mets fan here in the office, Johnny Piazza, who does a great job on the TV side. We went back and looked, and it's been there since 2017.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you missed a good. Everyone was kind of nuts tonight. I think it was the energy, but like Barkan drank like a soda, like a cherry Coke, and he was off his rocker tonight, dude. And then Ricky. Ben was kind of like herding the cattle, basically trying to keep it on. I mean, I was amped up. And then that high energy quickly ended into frustration.
As soon as the seventh inning hit, I'm watching from home, and I see him, or I hear him, Michael, mention Harper's batting gloves and spikes. I mean, that is right up his alley. I can 100% see him being outraged by that. And they got to it in the postgame. They come out in the postgame show with some video. They showed the spikes, and it was kind of weird. Nothing that outrages me personally. It's this day and age, whatever. But yeah, as soon as he mentioned that, I was like, oh boy, I can feel the anger bubbling on that topic. If among all the things to be mad about tonight, we're gonna hone in on Bryce's batting gloves and spikes.
They were honed in on that for quite a while.
Yes.
And look, like, it's cool because we actually looked it up. So he has this whole line. It's the rival series through Under Armour. And so it's kind of cool. He has the Miami Bryce that he wears against the Marlins. He has the Chop ATL, which I definitely remember him wearing. It's like a gold. It's like that Braves gold, yellow, whatever color they have in their logo. Cleats. And he's definitely worn the Nationals one. I think he just wore them when they were in DC 2 weekends ago. It's cool. But Ricky's whole thing tonight was, well, you piss off the baseball gods by wearing the other team's colors. Whatever. It's fine. I was okay with it. It got me fired up once we kind of pointed out on the broadcast. I was like, hell yeah, that's what Bryce does. And I love that he gets that creativeness kind of going. But obviously then when you lose 13-3, it's kind of like, oh, okay, man, that kind of brutal.
Right.
So before we kind of move on to some big picture topics, we got to switch over to football real quick because bird season is officially here, Sean Kane, and I am super excited for the season to get going. We're just a few days away from the season opener against those Cowboys at the Link. It's going to be electric here. We've been waiting all off season for football, and it's finally here. And don't forget to join NBC Sports Philadelphia and Phillies Sports Trips for the ultimate fan experience. Phillies Sports Trips and NBC Sports Philadelphia will be going to Kansas City for a Birds Takeover September 13th through the 16th. We cannot wait for that rematch of the Super Bowl. Lock in your spot today and be a part of the Birds Takeover in Kansas City. Book now. Do you expect, because the thing that I was worried about the most was game 2, Tuesday's game with Manaea. Manaea's been struggling. I get that, but they've struggled against Manaea so bad. He has that same delivery as Chris Sale. They obviously can't hit Chris Sale well. Are you confident on Tuesday and Wednesday going forward?
I mean, they got to figure out a way to win one of those games. And no, like Manaea definitely had their number last year. Like they couldn't touch him in that the
Yep.
NLDS game in New York. He pitched really well against them in one of those September games, I believe, up in New York too. He had 2
Yep.
back-to-back outings against them within the span of about 10 days, and he shoved both times. So no, I'm not gonna. And Luzardo, who knows? Like he's
We don't
been
know which.
really,
Yep.
yeah, he's really good lately. But would it shock me if he goes out and gives up 5 runs in 4 innings tomorrow? No, certainly not. So they just gotta, the bats gotta come to play. They should have a rested bullpen now. They got some of their big guys haven't pitched in a couple of days. So win tomorrow. Find a way to win. Find a way to win Wednesday. That'd be great if they can pull off both of them. But no, this is the one you look at. All right, we got Sanchez in game 1. Senga's obviously good too, but you figure we have the edge here. This is the one you thought they had probably the best chance of winning. But no, to answer your initial question, when it comes to Manaea, I know he's been hurt and he's kind of come back and not pitched well, but no, I think he has a very good track record against the Phillies, certainly as of late, and he can kind of lean on that, I think, and he'll pretty come up there with confidence tomorrow. And Phil's got to figure out a way to hit him.
Yeah, because the thing that I was really looking forward to the most in this series was having Jahan Duran come in and shut the door against this Mets team in front of those fans.
Yeah,
It'd be great. So hopefully they can turn around these next 2 games, because right now deflated is a good way to say after Monday's 13-3 loss. My God.
yeah.
Wake up. Let's wake up, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can.
Really, as a wise man once said, really bad start.
Really bad start. Really bad start.
Yeah.
Just banging. Brett Gardner just banging the dugout. If you don't get that, please look up. It was like John Boy's first
Aaron Boone
breakdown with Aaron Boone, and Brett Gardner just
the whole. It was the same. Savages in the box was like the
that's
big
exactly what it was. Correct.
Right. Yeah.
He just
a few years
Boone yells from the dugout. Really bad start. That's so good. Makes me really happy.
Good stuff.
So we'll transition real quick. Zack Wheeler, obviously. It was cool. I went out and talked to some fans on Friday night before that series opener against the Nationals at CBP, and just wanted to have some fans give some well wishes to Zack and kind of explain how much he means to the city. And obviously that was before the news comes out that he will miss the remainder of the season and the next 6 to 8 months. It stinks, man. Just as a human being side of things, obviously I'm really happy that he's healthy and doing better. That's first and foremost. Always, we've said it multiple times here on the pod. But big picture look at things, I think the hashtag Win It for Wheels thing is huge. They rallied around it because that Mariners series was amazing. They kind of rallied around the news of that, and they came out and did what they needed to do, and they came out this weekend taking 2 or 3 from the Nationals as well. But my thought is, too, what's a bigger storyline going in for the rest of this season, and we'll get to next season? Is it Aaron Nola stepping up to be the Aaron Nola that we expect him to be? Or is it Christopher Sanchez evolving into that, hey, I'm a number 1 starter in this league type of thing?
Yeah, I think Sanchez has pitched like a number 1 starter pretty much for 2 years now. And obviously, Monday night notwithstanding, he's still an ace. And I don't expect that to change. The bigger wild card to me is Nola. Like, you need him. You need a right-handed starter to step up. And, obviously, if they choose to go with 3 lefties as their first 3 postseason starters, they can do that. But that's not ideal. You want Nola to be that guy. He has the postseason experience. He pitched better, albeit it was against the Nationals. Both his outings since he's been back have been against the Nationals. So we'll see how he does when he starts facing a little higher, better competition. You just need him to step up and pitch like Aaron Nola. Pitch, give him 6 innings, throw strikes, take the ball, keep him in games. So to me, that's the biggest key. And I said that even before Wheeler, unfortunately is out for the season. I said that a month or two ago. Like, I think that's going to be a big key to the second half of him coming back, pitching well off this long layoff, and being a guy that can count on in the postseason. So to me, that's the biggest thing. I think Ranger has started to step up because now, we were talking about, I think Ranger maybe goes to the bullpen in the postseason, but right now he's starting game two. So I think you got to count on Ranger, you got to count on Nola. And if those three, Sanchez, Ranger, Nola, can be your three guys, then you maybe move Luzardo to the bullpen, where I think his stuff could play well as a lefty that throws hard, has that sweeper. But no, I don't. I think Sanchez is a number one. I think he's proved he can be a number one. I think Nola needs to prove he can come back and pitch to the level that we all expect him to pitch.
I think I'm with you. And the next question I have for you then too is he back? Like, after that performance this weekend against the Nationals, I felt confident in Aaron Nola. That's the Aaron Nola that we expect to see. And I know he gave up the home runs, a couple solo shots. That's fine. That's going to happen. But to me, that was telling, especially coming off his first start off the IL in Washington. I don't know. I think it's a bigger thing for Aaron, like you said, for Aaron Nola to step up huge here. And he's the type of guy that can do that. He knows he has to. He's we're coming on year 10 here as a Philadelphia Philly.
Yeah.
He's ready for this. And he's been the most consistent Philly over the last 10 years, obviously. But even going back, I think, to J-Roll, to Chase, to Ryan, Aaron's kind of amplified and exemplified that what it means to be a Philadelphia Philly. And I think if this team wants to succeed in the playoffs, like you said, he needs to slide in there in between probably Sanchez and Ranger right now, and slide in there for a game 2 in the NLDS and be the Aaron Nola that we expect him to be. I think I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, and the biggest encouraging sign to me from that start against Washington over the weekend was the velocity. He got up to 94. He was right around 92 to 93 on average, which, even before he went on the IL, that was a big story of the season. Oh, it's still cold out. His velocity will come. He really ticked up velocity wise, which is nice, and which he continues. He's never going to be a guy, obviously, as we all know, that's going to throw 98, 99 miles an hour, but his fastball needs to be 93, 94 as opposed to 91, 92. That kind of plays up his other stuff as well. So yeah, that's my answer. I think Nola's huge. Confidence in Chris Sanchez despite the loss on Monday. Rangers trending upwards. But it's funny going back to Wheeler. Like, win it for Wheels. Obviously, seems like they have a path medically to, they've diagnosed the problem. They're going to have the procedure. All goes well. And he's first and foremost healthy and there for his family. And if he comes back in 26 and can pitch great again, great. So that's the most important thing. But 2 weeks ago, if you would have asked me, like, who's the one guy that they can least afford to lose if they want to win a World Series, he would have been my answer. Just because he's that dude in the postseason, game one, give him the ball. And the way these series are spread out, you can count on him twice in the DS. You could start him twice in a CS and then bring him out of the bullpen like they did against Arizona. This guy can impact the series. You're going to have to beat this guy a couple times. And, he's been so good in the postseason, man. Like, you can point to, like, every guy of this era and, like, you can. Harper's been great in the postseason, but you can point to him and say in game 6 and 7 against Arizona, he had his opportunities, didn't get the job done. You can point at Turner and same deal. Schwarber last postseason against the Mets, he hit the home run in game 1 and then nothing. So these guys were all great. I'm not blaming any of them, but you could certainly point to them over the course of these last 3 postseasons and say this guy didn't get the job done in this particular instance. You can't. You can say it about Nola. You can say that about Ranger. Pretty much 1B in this conversation because he's been great. But anyhow, Wheeler is the one dude who, like, literally every opportunity he got, he went out there, did the job, and then some. Came back out of the bullpen in game 7 against Arizona. He was great last postseason against the Mets. In 22, what he did against the Padres in the CS was great. It's a shame. He's just so valuable in the postseason series to have a guy like that. So I don't know. Win it for Wheels. I think they obviously anything can happen in the postseason. They got a lot of talented guys, but it's just a tough loss, man, to try to overcome.
That is so well said. Perfectly said. We talked about his playoff numbers so much. He set records. He has major league records. He has Phillies records, what he's done in this postseason. It's going to be really hard for this team to overcome the loss of Zack Wheeler, especially in Red October. coming down the stretch here in the next month, it's going to be hard. But now you need these big guys to step up. You need Ranger Suarez, you need Christopher Sanchez, you need Aaron Nola, you need Jesus Luzardo to step up as well. And I think it's kind of funny. I saw some things, we even talked about it. It's the whole 2017 Eagles where Wentz goes down and you have a Nick Foles type, and maybe Nick Foles is Taiwan Walker.
That would be
you
what
never
a story.
know. You never know. But obviously the loss of Wheels is huge, and it's all around the country. People have been talking about it. It's such a big loss, and hopefully the Phillies can try to overcome the loss of literally the best pitcher, in my opinion, in all of baseball.
Yeah.
And leading off that, you mentioned Ranger. The last thing I wanted to hit on too, I had the thought driving in here today. Do you think with him even being out 6 to 8 months, who knows? Paul Buchheit in that press conference said that he expects maybe like with pitchers and stuff, we've seen 6 to 8 weeks, they can kind of start throwing again. But for timetable wise, we probably won't see Zack Wheeler until maybe the All-Star break next season, maybe post All-Star break, whatever. Kind of do the quick math. I don't know. Maybe before that, if everything goes well. But again, it's one of those things that I'd rather not rush that and kind of let him be Zack Wheeler and develop and rehab and recover as much as you can. But another big question that comes about this is if you don't have him, say, for half the season next season, do you think this changes the plans and re-signing Ranger Suarez?
Yeah, I think they obviously want to resign him, period. But you could have talked to yourself pretty easily into, okay, if Ranger walks, our rotation next year could still be in some order: Wheeler, Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola, Andrew Painter.
Right.
Taiwan's still around. So if Taiwan, you can include Taiwan. I just reeled off 6 guys that I think they'd be comfortable with. I think Painter had a rough year, but I still think the command comes back. And I think with a full year in spring next year, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be in their plans for the rotation.
I think we'll see Andrew Painter on the opening day roster next year.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. So yeah, so I think like, okay, Ranger goes, but we still got 6 guys that we still have some depth. But now, yeah, I mean, I think there's a little more urgency, like especially. But the thing with Ranger, like if he continues to pitch well, if he has a couple good postseason outings, there's going to be a lot of people lining up, to sign him.
Correct.
And given who his representation is, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of hometown discount. It's going to be top dollar. How much money are you going to throw at Schwarber, JT? To me, Ranger was always the guy that is most likely to leave. Not because I don't appreciate him. I just think it all kind of added up to this is probably it for Ranger. But yeah, now if Wheeler's gone, all of a sudden you get real thin real fast if you picture this rotation next year without Wheeler and Suarez and the wild card of, is Painter going to be ready? Is Painter going to produce at the big league level? So yeah, it certainly doesn't make it any easier to let him walk, but I still think it's an uphill battle trying to re-sign him.
Yeah, I think it's still, I should have phrased that question. I think it's definitely in their plans to re-sign Ranger for sure. It's just, I think Kyle Schwarber and JT Realmuto were your main points of, hey, let's get them on the books next season, whether JT signs a kind of a player or a club-friendly option. Obviously, I think Schwarber's your 110% number one. Hey, we have to get this done. But like you said, I think we even talked about it before of just Ranger's kind of that guy where it's like, hey, if he walks, he walks. And especially with Scott Boras, he's probably going to get some money. And I don't know if Ranger Suarez is worth $100 million, in my opinion. But I think with the Wheeler news and him being out for maybe at most half the season next season, I think it definitely could change on their urgency to re-sign Ranger too now. So it's just a kind of one of those things to throw out there into the abyss and see if it sticks. But yeah, it's some storylines that we don't have to worry about right now. We'll have to worry about them in the off season coming forward. But oh man, just still frustrated. Just frustrated.
Baseball. We're back 162. It's the
that's what Bryce said. That's what Rob Thompson said.
Yeah.
It's, hey, we come back tomorrow and hopefully everything's A-okay. But
you get Casty back in the lineup tomorrow. Maybe a little Eddie Sosa. You get a little punch.
Sure. That'd be great. I know. Shout out to Mundo Sosa too. That was awesome. What a weekend for him on Saturday there. But we'll see. Just frustrating loss, but hey, like we said, we bounce back and hopefully Tuesday night and Wednesday, all things point to them getting that game back and increasing this National League East division lead. So, anything else, brother?
Hopefully everybody has the correct batting gloves and spikes on tomorrow. We don't need any issues. Don't need anybody riling up the post-game crew. Let's just keep it to the red and gray.
I will say the man knows what he's doing, especially putting on that Eagles hat in his post-game press conference. Oh, yeah. It's
back in the good graces. Go Birds.
It's baseball.
When all else fails, go Birds. Yeah.
It's football season, baby. And that's what Justin Boylan here in the office, too. He was like, oh, hey, 13-3. Football's here, baby. And I was like, yeah, you're right. That made me feel a little bit better. But, hey, we're worried about this Phillies team going forward. And hopefully we don't have to worry about them in the next 2 games. So we will talk to you guys Wednesday. You'll probably get the pod on Thursday morning, but we will record one after that final game in Citi Field. And hopefully it's a lot happier than this one. So for Sean Kane, I'm Spencer McKercher. We'll talk to you guys then.